Would you stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good afternoon. No dog. I forgot the dog. We usually begin our meetings with a dog that we allow you to adopt. If you don't adopt it, we give it to you anyway. This is a special meeting on April 29th for the purpose of some workforce development issues. So, Mr. Cordes?
Thank you, Madam President, and I appreciate the board scheduling a special meeting to allow Lorain County to maximize our ability to enhance incumbent workers to incumbent worker dollars. As you know, things have changed with regard to wage matching, which was a great inducement for these companies to participate. And as of Thursday morning, we won't be able to do that, at least temporarily. Just to let you know, we have weighed in very heavily with letters to the state seeking them to submit to the federal government for a waiver, and we're also contacting our legislative folks in Washington for a push downward while we're pushing from the bottom up. I don't know that we're going to be very successful, but we're making it known how much the program is progressing. Also, as an update to Project 10, this morning I was in communication with the college, and the good work that's being done by Project 10 has reached all the way to Lee Fisher, and he has asked to see our program and all the materials for our program with regards to the new initiatives from the state with workforce development and how to more seamlessly run them parallel with economic development issues. So we'll be sending off a large amount of information to Lee Fisher's office, and once again, Lorain County is having an impact on what they're thinking about doing statewide from our program that we grew over the last year or two right here in Lorain County. With that, I would ask Don to come to the podium and present these two companies, and hopefully you'll find them worthy of funding this morning.
Good afternoon. We do have two companies that we've worked very diligently with to get them in under the gun with the deadline that we had to face. And I'm proud to say both came away on the ball on every step of the way that we needed the information. They got it to us lickety-split to make this happen. So who we have present today is Shiloh Industries from Wellington, represented by John and Michelle, and I'll have you come up in a minute to make some comments. And Diamond Products from Elyria. And we've got gentlemen, Roy and Dave. Thank you, Dave. I'm sorry. I was extremely rushed today in getting over here to make sure I had all the information ready to go. Diamond Products is looking to request a grant in the amount of $30,000 for a variety of training. They're looking to do management training and computer training to make their line supervisors, team leaders, and management staff much more effective in the way that they handle issues both on the floor and within the ranks throughout the entire company, as well as advance the computer skills of said individuals to help make information flow much more seamless throughout the entire company. Shiloh Industries is requesting a grant in the amount of $19,500 for training, and they're also looking to do a section of management training for their employees and management staff, as well as some safety training in regards to an OSHA 10-hour training course. And so with that, I'd like to start by having the two companies come up to tell you a little bit more about why they're looking to do the training that they're doing, and just to talk in general about their experience so far with the program. So if I could have Shiloh first.
Welcome, John Lesher.
Thank you, Betty. Good afternoon. Thanks for the opportunity. First of all, we couldn't have done that without any of this without this guy behind us. I mean, getting through this paperwork was something. Then he comes up and says, oh, by the way, and we really have to step it up, so appreciate his help. Shiloh, I've been there about a year. I spent 32 years on 15th Street here on Mussey Avenue. Shiloh is 60% automotive. We're trying to get out of that business a little bit, and to show you that little bit, this morning I looked at the board. Last month we made 625,000 lawnmower blades. So we have snatched two machines from 130th Street in Cleveland, Cuyahoga County, and brought them into Lorain County and placed 25 extra people. I started there last May. In June, the head count was 167. Year to date, it's 242. It's about a 42% improvement, so we're going ahead. In addition, we have this part called FLICA, front lower control arm assembly. If you look up underneath your car, we all have one of these. We're running these things 24/7. And because of the influx of business, we've been hurrying up, hiring people, getting them on board. And we need the training to progress into those, especially with OSHA. We have a full-time staff, health, safety, environmental engineer, but the time that we've spent hiring people have been lax in the training. So we need to push that forward. And when the people from Project 10, Phil Makita and that group came out to see me, I just jumped on it. So we scored off 7 areas, I think it was, finance for 9 non-financial managers to get the newer supervisors on board of what does it take to run a company. It's not just your little department, it's everything, and we want to create that. I don't know if you have any other questions. We're doing quite well. Shiloh as itself is a little bit slow right now because of the automotive strike with General Motors, the axle. That hasn't hit our facility in Lorain County and Wellington. Should Lordstown get hit, we're going to get hit bad. You know, it trickles downhill. But we're doing extremely well. Looking for 4 more people as I'm standing here. We're always hiring people. It's not a hard job to find people in Lorain County because of the depressed economy. But we are finding, just for your information, I'm finding as we hire people that more and more people are coming in from the locality around Wellington. We're doing very well there because of the gas price. They don't want to come from Brooklyn or Parma or anything like that. A lot of the people that lost their jobs on 130th Street, they can't make it for our wages and drive the distance because of the gas. So that's entering into the whole hiring possibility. So we're hiring very locally. I've advertised in the Wellington Enterprise, and it's been very successful. The other thing that's really helped us out is the annex that Lorain Community College has put in not far from us. Big improvement. It's always filled. We've gone out there and had career days. Matter of fact, we just went to one last Wednesday out at the college. Out of that, we hired 3 employees. So Lorain County's moving ahead. This grant is very crucial to us. Quite frankly, I don't know where we'd be without it because, like I said, Shiloh as a whole economically isn't doing that well right now because of the strike. So they put the whammy on me as far as spending and said only necessary spending. However, when we can show them that we could get $19,000 here, yeah, go ahead and open it up. So we jumped on it from the very beginning. So your appreciation would be very helpful. You have any questions about Shiloh or anything that we can?
Nice to know you're doing well. Nice to know the program works. I mean, prior to me being in office, John, I sort of like spearheaded this. All these millions of dollars sitting in Columbus, we had no way to access them. So
Yeah.
the team put together a heck of a project with the project.
Appreciate
it's
it,
working.
yeah. And that happens a lot. We understand that. I've also been working with Steve Morey. And
Sure.
yeah, and there's a lot of things like that, and especially have a couple holds in the village of Grafton. So we're working along those ends too. Matter of fact, just a short story, as we went to that job fair last week, one of the young ladies was giving us her profile, and she's in public administration major. And I got this brainstorm because we're into this DART program in the village. And hopefully she's going to come on board this summer as a intern to help us fill out those paperwork. So we have another Don out there, which people like this are just invaluable. We could not have done it, so whatever it takes on your part to get things like this moving, we couldn't have done this by ourselves. There just isn't enough hours in the day, and we don't have the talent. So that's the key behind all this. I mean, when he calls and says we have to fill this out, I say, hey, you have to show us how. So he spent a lot of time with us, so I appreciate that help too.
Thank you very much, John.
Wonderful, thank you.
Okay,
Appreciate your
thanks for your time.
comments. Glad to hear that you're working at Shiloh.
You're not going to speak, Shelley?
I could add a few things that John forgot about National Gypsum.
Step up.
Come on down.
15 minutes of fame. You can tell your dad I said hello.
One thing that John forgot is that, you know, that the National Gypsum facility in Lorain is closing, and we're trying to stay within the county to bring people into our facility. We've interviewed 2 or 3 people from that division to possibly come work for us. So we are talking with the people there to try and bring them and keep them employed, food on the table, and in the community, so.
The displaced worker program, are we got that up and running yet?
Well, I would encourage you, and Vivian's here, our Director of Workforce Development, and Vivian works hand in hand with Don, and Vivian's done a yeoman's job for us also with this program. But Vivian can put you in touch with the folks at our One Stop. We do know who's being displaced. We are proactively working with National Egyptian on placement services and retraining services for those unfortunate employees that are going to be
We do work with them,
displaced.
yes, we do.
You do work with the One Stop now?
Yes,
Great,
yes.
that's wonderful to hear.
Yes.
That's the way the system's
We
supposed
want
to
to
work.
keep it in the
And
county.
a lot of times people we don't have that full of engagement from all the business, so it's wonderful to hear that it's working
Mm-hmm. Yes.
for you.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Tell
Thank you,
Rattler and your
Michelle.
mom I said hello.
And now I'm going to correct the earlier mistake and ask Dave Lanzi to come up and speak on behalf of Diamond Products. And Roy, if you want to join him, entirely up to you.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having us here today. I again wanted to thank Don and Vivian for all of their assistance in this program. Without their help, it wouldn't have been possible to be at this point today. Share a little bit about Diamond Products. We've been here in Elyria for 44 years. As a company, we've experienced tremendous growth throughout the years. We currently have about 340 total employees, 288 based in the Elyria area. Our corporate headquarters is right over here on Prospect Street. We then have another facility on Taylor Street, a warehouse facility on Broad Street, and that we just purchased. It was formerly a leased property for us, and an additional facility over on Taylor Street as well. Our goal for this project, when we first started, our supervisor base, we have promoted heavily from within as our company has grown. Every one of our production supervisors started on the shop floor at one time. It's been great from a standpoint where the knowledge they have of the production process has continued to grow as we've grown as a company, but it's also given us a challenge with some of the management skills that our supervisors possess. They are very good welders, brazers, painters, but a lot of the HR issues that they face on a daily basis, employee relations issues, they struggle with some of those. So we thought by putting together this project, when we first heard about it, would give our supervisors the knowledge they need to handle those face-to-face situations on a daily basis and prevent some of the issues that come to HR that probably shouldn't get there. They should be handled before that point. The main focus from the management side will be first-time supervisors, peer today, boss tomorrow, the legal side of management, resolving conflict within your team, generations in the workplace, and building supervision skills. The second component of the training will be computer skills. Basic Word, intermediate Word, basic Excel, and then intermediate and advanced Excel for some of our supervisors that have the basic knowledge.
Something I want to read from your proposal that caught my attention when I was reviewing these yesterday. And we always ask what some of the effective outcomes are sought to be produced with the collaboration. And one of the things you wrote here, it says, increase the pool of internal hiring candidates for future supervisory openings and promotion opportunities while reducing the need for outside hiring to fill these roles within our company. At least one employer-related outcome, example, lowers employees' turnover, increases the profitability of the business, enhances the competitiveness of the business. Mm-hmm. And that's what this is all about. And one of the areas that has been a bit of a wick problem for us is creating new opportunities at entry level for students, recently graduated students, or students that choose not to go on into higher education or are looking for that first job to start building their career track. Well, we don't move people up. We can't move people in. And that focus is one of the priorities of incumbent worker training, is to make those employees more productive for you so that you can elevate their standard of living by elevating them through the ranks of your organization, and then create opportunity for new people to come in and start working on their career ladder at the same time. There's very few programs out there that address that continuum of learning that enhances them as employees to continue to improve their quality of life and their earning potential. So, I mean, I just wanted to read that because that caught my attention out of their packet.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
Roy, do you have anything you want to add? Roy Varga is my former neighbor. for many years.
You ran him out of town, huh?
He moved.
I wonder why.
He got married.
Oh.
I want to thank you again for the opportunity we have here. And I want you to really understand that Diamond Products, we have some hardworking individuals, and they're mostly from this county. And by having that and having the growth that Dave alluded to, it's hard for us to get sometimes upper management to say, stop, let's start managing better. Let's just work harder, work harder. And we all know that nowadays you have to work a little smarter sometimes instead of harder to stay ahead of the competition. This is a real advantage for us to have some dollars that aren't ours that we'll be able to use to do the things that we need to do to stay competitive, to stay in Elyria. I know our CEO is real proud of the fact that we're in Elyria. It's a good area. We do a lot of shipping out of here to all parts of the world. The airport's 20 minutes away, so it's easy for us to get to the airport and back. But I just want to really just reiterate that we work hard there at Diamond Products, and we have grown from the inside. We have people who have been there so long, we're looking at some retirements coming up, and we're not real happy about that. So we need some education on some of our management skills so we can retain the people that we have and grow from the inside up. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Roy.
Thank you.
A couple closing comments, Commissioners. For those that don't know, and since we are being taped, a lot of this effort with Project 10 would not have been able to see the light of day if it wasn't for the Growth Partnership. And the Growth Partnership has opened our opportunities to collaborative efforts between the college, the JVS, the county, workforce development, the WIB board, the chamber, and the list goes on. There was a time when we all talked about these collaborative efforts, but we weren't able to really get any rubber on the road. I know I'm always touting the Lorain County Growth Partnership, but we deal with these issues through the Growth Partnership, and that's another initiative that this board made a priority a few years ago, and Project 10 is an outcome. While it stands on its own, but it is definitely an outcome of the cooperative efforts that are being done through the Growth Partnership. Don is an employee of the Workforce Institute, which is paid from the One Stop, which it gets its funding from the Workforce Development Agency, which gets its funding from the Lorain County Board of Commissioners, and Don is supervised jointly by Vivian over at the Workforce Development Agency. You can see the way we've started putting these circles of funding mechanisms and supervisory mechanisms together so we can maximize all the resources that are available to us. I'm not embarrassed to tell you that 3 or 4 years ago we could not have cooperated and done this. We just weren't able to do it, and we are able to do it today. And I'm sorry that the media is not here again. Once again, you heard some wonderful comments today, and I wish the media would pick up a little bit more fully on what these businesses are doing in Lorain County and what it means to them to have these type of programs, and stop just reporting on the negativity, because we just heard some great comments about local companies making it happen here for local residents and providing jobs and opportunities, and we too much focus on the negatives and not on those positives. But I appreciate your support, and hopefully we're going to be reporting more successes to you as the summer goes on.
Don, you have concluding remarks?
Well, in closing, just to wrap up what Mr. Cortez was saying, right now everything is going very well with the program. We were hoping to have a couple more than the 2 that we have here for your review today. However, Diamond and Shiloh were of paramount importance because of the wage match piece and getting it in before the deadline. So they received the bulk of our time. And as a matter of fact, John and I spent, 2.5 hours on Friday making sure we got everything done and in order to have ready for today. So we will have several more applications before you as the summer begins and progresses. Happy to say that we are getting near the end of our first round of funding for Project 10. I don't remember the exact total, Vivian, that we worked out the other day, but I believe with the approval of these 2, we'll probably be down somewhere around the $50,000, $60,000 range left in the pot of funds, which is outstanding to say that we've found plenty of companies to utilize those dollars. We have several more lined up that will probably end up completing that use of funds.
We started out with 380? 318,000. Okay, so effectively if we put approximately $260,000 to work churning in the community, which is being matched by the companies, and some of the matches are greater than 50%, so you got about $500,000 worth of training going on in some of the local companies, and that's significant. Another benefit is that we do, and Don and Vivian are always at our leadership team meetings, we do try real hard to use the locally taxpayer-supported organizations, JBS College, local training organizations, so that the dollars stay right here within Lorain County, and it's more cost-effective. So, that's that, keep the circle keeps going round and round and round. So
Well, that means we expended about 80% of the dollars we were allowed in first year, right?
That's correct.
Now, we're not
Not
going to,
bad.
and we're not going to lose any dollars, because those dollars are rolling over, correct, Vivian? So,
And then, our new funding comes out July 1.
Okay.
So then we. send
Spend the
down
old
to
dollars first and,
Well, we send down to the state that we're requesting to pull money out of the, adult workers' funding, and then that's what gets transferred to the
Okay.
income workers.
beautiful.
And just to touch on a point that Jim had made previously as well as one of the other hearings, when we look at the total amount of training, just to give you an idea, looking at, for example, Shiloh, their total cost of the training is around $42,000 that they're looking to spend in total. So, the 19.5 that they're requesting is really a drop in the bucket with what they're looking to do. And the same can be told for Diamond Products as well. Their total training cost is near $108,000 that they're looking to expend. So the $30,000 they're requesting is a fraction of that, but it's the investment in those employees and the cost of pulling those employees off the floor, which is what makes the wage match piece so critical to our program and has made it so successful to this point here today.
Very good, thank you all. I
guys.
move
Appreciate it.
for approval of the contracts as outlined.
Second.
Anything further? Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
I don't see any public here who might like to speak, since you've all had a chance, so I'll move we adjourn.
I'll second.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Thank you again for coming.